Welcome to Coming Up Roses. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Kelly, and today is Saturday, June 11th, 2022. This is episode 65.
Yeah.
Yes.
You may notice something a little different. I don't, you might think, well, this looks a little different. I don't quite put it together. We are not in the same room. We're still in the same house, thank God, but we're not in the same room.
I am currently dealing with the remnants of COVID.
Yeah.
And I came out of isolation today, thank God. But in order for me to be around anybody, I have to be masked, and just didn't want to do that. So we're going to try it this way so that I don't have to be masked. Yeah, it's been a week.
It's been a tough week. It really has.
I will start off by saying the effects of COVID that we have felt in the past week have been minuscule in comparison to what so many people have gone through. So I don't want to sound like I'm complaining over minor things, because in the grand scheme of things, it was minor. But in our little world, it just kind of threw everything down.
Poor Tilly. No, she's in there with you.
She's in there with me, yeah. She's trying to taunt me with a piece of something, but I don't have anything to trade for. So last Sunday, or I guess Saturday, we did our podcast together. Sunday, I just started feeling not bad, but just a little bit of a sore throat and a headache. And that progressively just stuck with me throughout the day. And I took a COVID test on Sunday night, and it was negative. And then Tilly just had to jump up on the bed and just start digging, because God forbid she lay quietly through it. Tilly, sit down. Sit down. Whatever. When I got up Monday morning, I really didn't feel any better. And I wasn't feeling like horribly sick, but just like I had a head cold coming on, and decided to stay home from school Monday, and tested again Monday evening and tested positive. So thank God I didn't just push through and go to work on Monday, because Lord knows who I would have exposed, all of my people there. But that started the week of just being isolated in this room without any contact with anybody.
Yeah.
Which was nice for about a day. And then I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, because you were bored as hell.
Bored. And like, we have a TV, and I was getting a lot of schoolwork done. I will say that I finished report cards and did our supply order, and got a lot of that kind of stuff done. But we don't have this huge bedroom, so there's not, like, other than the bed, there's really just nowhere to sit. And just being in bed for 5 days is crazy. And I was not comfortable coming out at all, because I don't want mom and dad to get it. Everybody, thankfully, up until
testing positive, or testing negative, everybody else
in the house. So I want to keep it that way. Poor Kevin. I feel like Kevin was more distraught about it than even I was.
Well, I mean, it's just like, there's, I don't know. I like having you in the room. I always like having you in the room. Or like, if we wanted to, you're in the house, but we can't go take our drive, or that kind of thing. All this stuff that when you're home that we could do, we can't do because you're locked in the room, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then I was contending with getting the pool open, which thank God that's open. Water's still a little too cool to just dive in, but it's getting better. that was a bit of work.
Well, normally
Um,
dad was the one to open that. Now that, you're trying to take that role on a little bit more. It's just, and as you'll find out as we talk, nothing that we do ever runs smoothly around here. So
uh,
everything is met with challenges and obstacles, but you did it. The pool looks good.
yeah, pool does look really good.
Um, I'd like to get in if it's warm enough in the coming days.
Yeah. I
Um,
think when I got in to do the vacuuming, it was cold the first time I got in it, and then I quickly got to where I was like, okay, this is good, and then I'm just vacuuming away.
yeah.
But we got a cool Shark vacuum. Where'd you get it from? New was it Sharper Image or something?
Yeah, sharper image.
It was
Yeah.
literally a vacuum cleaner for underwater.
Yeah.
You don't have to hook it up to hoses. You don't have to. It doesn't run through the filter. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's rechargeable, battery operated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does help.
Mhm.
I think it's just, you having to sleep in the guest room and
Which isn't the bed itself isn't horrible. It's just
yeah. Hey, I know you got your new She-Hulk shirt on.
yeah, my Marvel shirt of the month. It's not my honestly, it's not my favorite one. I don't like wearing white.
Yeah, that's a
And
big problem.
I like She-Hulk, but this particular uh, outfit, I would rather her in her Fantastic Four outfit or any of the other costumes. This is just, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me.
It's not for
Great
you.
character, but yeah,
It's
but
a thick material though. It doesn't look like it's a
yeah,
white see-through.
yeah.
Or you're not gonna go into any white t-shirt contests with that on.
Maybe
um,
I'll give it to. Well, you can have it if you want. You can. No,
I don't wear
I'll
white
give. I'll give it to Tabitha. She can wear it as a dress.
that's true. She probably could put a cute belt on it.
There you go.
So anyway, my symptoms of COVID were mild.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like I had a head cold. Was it Wednesday? I did a virtual visit with the doctor to get some. Was that Wednesday? My days are all running together.
Yeah, it was Wednesday.
Whatever day it was, Wednesday or Thursday. They put me on one of those medicines that they can, as long as you get it in the first 5 days, which reminds me I have to take it and it's in the other room. So I started taking that. It's like 4 pills twice a day. I was a little bit hesitant about taking it. Because they're like, just so you know, this is emergency use only. It's not got full FDA. I'm like, well, neither was any of the vaccines that I shot into me. So I was just worried about it because I could feel it. Like it started in my head and I could just feel it like a typical cold does for me all the time. It just works its way down. And I didn't want it to get settled in my chest. Because, I started worrying like, oh, that's when people, and I'm laying here on, and not moving and
Mm-hmm.
I want to get pneumonia and, all this kind of, so I never ran a fever higher than 99.5, which isn't really even a fever.
You did have that one night where you sweat a lot.
Oh, I mean, 3 nights.
Yeah.
Where I woke up one night, Tilly woke me up in the middle of the night. And when I turned the lights on in the room, like the bed sheets were like soaked. I was like, holy crap. And I've lost 5 pounds since Monday.
The COVID diet.
Yeah. I just didn't have access to food because I was stuck back here and was not about to make trips to the kitchen past my parents. So I was just kind of back here at the whim of whenever somebody wanted to throw a hamburger or something in the room to me.
Yeah. Which means you were relegated to my work schedule. So
I mean, mom was like, would have brought me anything I needed, but honestly, just wasn't hungry. Yeah, so
watched a lot of Dr. Phil, a lot of Jokers.
I did not watch a ton of television, but I was on my iPad and on my computer a lot. My eyes are sore. And I slept a lot, which is probably what I needed to do.
Yeah.
Friday was the day I woke up Friday and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel 100% better. I have a cough, but it's not a persistent cough. Like I'll get a tickle in my throat and I'll cough for a couple minutes and then I could go hours without coughing. I felt really good Friday. Today's Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Just today was my first day I was allowed to come out of isolation. But I have to stay masked through Wednesday, which sucks. It sucks. I forgot how bad the masks suck. Spent a little time out watching Kevin this morning on the deck. The grand production that was.
So my mother-in-law decided she wanted a new gate there's a little stairway that leads up to the pool. And yeah, the gate was pretty ragged. We need to get rid
The
of it.
bunnies out of the pool because we've had
And they get past the gate anyway, and they're still going to get past this gate because it's, we're not doing anything to the side of the railway. So if Bunny wants to commit suicide, he's going to commit suicide. Either way, that's neither here nor there. It's like a shade, though. It's like a window shade, but it pulls sideways. And I had such trouble. We got these, the posts and everything, they're not wood, they're tracks. So they're a little bit more difficult to work with. And I just could not get the screw in there. I did a guide hole and everything, and it just wasn't working out.
I think it was the
Plus
angle.
the plastic itself that they make the bracket with was pretty flimsy. That made it difficult as well.
Well, I think the angle that you were trying to screw them into the beam at, because you were bending over to do the ones at the bottom. Anytime you're bending over and trying to screw something in, it's more difficult. That's why I was like, if you just sat down on the deck and you were level with it, it probably would have been a little easier.
Maybe.
But
well, the electric screwdriver was the other issue, is because it kept stripping the heads. So
yeah, we worked on, well, I can't say Kevin worked on it for a couple hours. And finally I'm like, just give it up until tomorrow. Like, we're back at it. We'll try again tomorrow.
It's a real pain in the ass, is what it is.
Yeah. But
but what are you gonna do?
There's nothing you can do. You got to get it done.
Gotta get it done.
So, but that was a folly of like, you get started and you're like, oh, I need this. You have to get up and go find that. Then you come back and you're like, oh, I need this. And you have to go find that. And then you have to bring this tool out. Then you have to bring that tool out. It was just like, oh my God. The actual process of putting it up would probably take 10 minutes. Like, it seemed so easy. But everything just was like kicking your butt the whole time.
Well, because it's the material of the porch, which I love. It's called Trax, made out of like a dense resin.
It's Trex
or whatever it is. It's made out of like a real dense resin. So, and aside from it getting real hot when the sun's out, it's great. It's sturdy. I mean, you guys had it on in the back deck for at least 15 years, and it's held up extremely well.
Yeah.
So
we'll see how well it holds up to this new gate screen thing that we're putting on it.
Yeah. And then
just buy another one like we had before that we could have just clipped into the little rings that were already there.
Yeah, well, because your mom. I mean, what I do today, I went out to the front porch and there was 8 different things on the porch. I mean, she's gonna watch this. She's gonna kick my ass later, but she got a problem. She got a real problem.
That's what Kevin came in with, like all these packages. Like, somebody has a big problem.
There was like a big box. I don't even know what was in there. She's like, it's Father's Day and your father's birthday.
Father's Day, Dad's birthday are all coming. So anyway.
What if it gets Flag Day?
Flag Day's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Got to think of something to do with the kids on Flag Day. Maybe let them design their own flags or something.
That was cool too. You zoomed with the kids. That was cool for you.
I did, yeah. That was the other thing. So I had to be out of work for 5 days, and poor Robin, I felt so bad because Friday was field day, and we had this pizza party planned, and she was a couple of days without an assistant at all. There was no sub to work with her. And our class is a handful. On a good day, they're a handful. There's a lot of needs in that room to be met. And I just felt terrible that I couldn't be there. But she brought me some get well soon cards that the kids made. One of them was really funny. It said, let me see if I can find it. Hang on. Yeah, this one right here. I don't know if this is going to look backwards. I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but it says, "No teacher is better than you." And then when you open it up on the inside, it says, "Well, Mrs. Wilkerson is too." Which I thought was really cute. And then Friday after their field day, I zoomed in, and they were so excited. I was like, "Oh, they look so sweet on camera." But yeah, they had a good time. I will be happy to get back with them this last week of school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though it was so much to do to get the room ready. And
then next week, we're going to rent a pickup truck because we're going to go hardcore in the garage.
Yep.
Tossing stuff.
Hope it doesn't rain on Saturday. We didn't even check the weather. Probably should have done that, huh?
Yeah. Well, ask the old.
Let's see. No, I'm not asking her. Hold on.
What that bitch?
This is stuff we should have thought to do before we rented the vehicle.
Yeah. I'm trying to be proactive.
I have all my weather apps entitled in a group called News because it's the only kind of news I want to hear on my phone. Let's see. Where is the 7-day forecast? Well, it doesn't go through to next Saturday, but Friday, 55% chance of thunderstorms. It's going to be 89 degrees.
Well, yeah.
Hopefully that won't, like, those storms will be in the afternoon.
Yeah.
As it gets closer, we'll have to make a decision. But
because once we're
gonna back this pickup truck into the driveway and just go through stuff. And if it's,
I'm gonna get Mike to pull because Mike's got to work, but I'm gonna get him to pull the machine out and put it in the backyard. And I'm gonna pull the Jazzy out, and I'm gonna pull the other stuff so there's room right there at the gate.
Good idea.
It's gonna start tossing.
Yeah.
Because if we get the 2 tables cleared off, and if we get the back wall
in the middle that we just don't know what it is.
Right, that stuff in the middle. If we're not using it, it's not something that I remember this thing. Well, it's going to the dump, throwing in the truck.
To the dump or to the donation center. So one or the other.
Yeah. And then the stuff in that back guard, whatever that is. Only request I have for Mike is not to throw away his comic books. He's got a bunch of comic books in a tote, which I wouldn't do that anyway. I'm not.
That's not up in the attic. That's down in the garage.
You couldn't get it up in the attic.
Too heavy.
Probably more about there just being so much stuff up in the attic. And you know how he is. He just stuffs it right there.
Don't say that, because that'll be the next project.
Oh, I'm sure he's already said it out loud in front of Mom, so that'll be a project. But not until probably after we get back from Hatteras, because
I say we don't do that until the fall when it's not so hot.
Yeah, that's true too. Because we do the garage next week. The week after that, we're in Hatteras. The week after that is the first week in July, and we've got I think that's when Tilly's going to.
I say we celebrate the 4th of July that weekend because you have to work on the 4th of July.
Yeah, yeah. And we got Tilly's vet appointment that first Saturday after the 4th, whatever that day is. What's she doing?
She jumped on the bed. We stripped the bed because we're washing sheets and whatever. There's some folded shirts of mine, and she just lays right down on the folded shirts. She's got the entire king size bed to lay on.
But she's got to get her stank on mommy.
She's sleeping.
She's a sweet girl.
She hasn't slept in here all week, so she's soaking up the comfy bed while she can. Yeah.
When we're done recording, I'll get the stuff out of the dryer.
Yeah. So,
but all that exciting housework shit you guys tune in every week for.
Yeah. So next week is our last week of school. Kevin's birthday is on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And
Cash App, $K Roast VA.
Have a steak dinner, and it's, steak's expensive these days.
Yeah. Please just start a GoFundMe for a tank of gas.
Oh my God, don't even. I'm already like, when we get to Hatteras, we're staying because I don't want to be.
Well, gas, yeah, we're definitely gonna have to fill up.
I imagine gas on Hatteras is even more on a good day.
Yeah, because everything down there gets expensive because it's got to cross the bridge. So we'll definitely need to make sure we get gas before we get even into Nag's Head. So whatever gas station is right there before.
Yeah, I'm sure the price of that gas station will be outrageous also.
Yeah. We'll get some before we leave Virginia. And then we're not going to drive 4 hours or whatever. So it's not going to be.
It's not a make or break our trip kind of expense, but it's an expense nonetheless. And it just keeps creeping higher and higher and higher.
Yeah. Well, because they keep spending money.
Has it hit $5 here yet? I don't know. I haven't been out.
Nationwide, the average is $5. We tend to go a little lower, but it won't be long before we hit the $5. So, and they've got the it's just going to continue on because they're still spending money and they're still printing money. So as long as they're still doing that, it's just going to keep happening.
And if one more person suggests that if you want to beat the price of gas, buy an electric car, I'm going to scream.
Cheapest one is $40,000, and that's with a stripped down model.
So your average citizen, your single mom, or your run-of-the-mill lower economic, can't afford to buy an electric car.
No.
And then even if you do buy an electric car, you still have to charge it. So I don't know, where is that electricity coming from? And you still have to pay for that. Plus, those batteries they're using in those cars, the lithium mines, I don't see how that's helpful to the environment.
It's not.
So either way, we're just creating a problem now that 20 years from now, what's going to happen to all these batteries? Where are they going to go?
If they were serious about, doing energy that's cleaner, then the only real answer is nuclear. And they should be building nuclear power plants all over the place. It's cheap, relatively cheap. It's safe. It's extremely safe. All these horror stories are just that, they're stories. And it's the most efficient, most clean of all of the power sources, including wind and solar. Wind and solar, the wind stops blowing. The sun gets blotted out by clouds. So,
speaking of solar, we had some people knock on the door trying to sell solar panels for the roof. One of our neighbors is getting them installed.
Yeah.
And I don't know. They tell you it's no money out of pocket, which just means you're
there's
paying
no way
down the road. You're not going to get. They're not going to put them on your roof for free, and then suddenly you don't have an electric bill anymore. But one of the things the guy said, because they came to the door and I was listening through Ring Doorbell because I heard mom talking and I was like, I wonder who that is. So I was watching, and then mom came in the house to get something. And I was just waiting for them to start talking to each other about how they were gonna,
we're gonna fleece this old lady.
yeah. And they didn't, I mean, they stood and said not a single word. So they must have realized could have been being watched on there. But and I'm not saying that they're scamming anybody. I'm not saying that. But the battery, I mean, you put the solar panels on your house, which you eventually do have to pay for. And then they said something about there's only a certain percentage of people allowed to have them. Like the power company can set the limit on how many people are allowed to use solar power. Which makes me think like, well, then solar power is just in the pocket of these big electric companies, because they can buy the electricity from you, like what you're reserving or what you're storing. But then don't you have to have the battery storage to store all that reserve energy? And how much does that cost? And then what's the cost of it when those have to be maintained or replaced? How much are you really saving in the long run?
Right.
Plus, I mean, we have storms here, bad ones, and I don't know. I mean, is that something else that you have to worry about damaging your roof? And
yeah, because what kind of warranty do they have?
yeah,
if there's a storm and there's a 1,000 houses in the area that now have damaged cells.
And then I was reading something about Florida, like all these states that get a lot of sun, they're sunny most of the year round or whatever, have limits on the number of people that it just makes me think that there's more politics at play even there.
Oh yeah.
Everybody is setting up these regulations.
The reason why
electric companies don't want to be run out of business.
Right. Well,
someone is setting these are arbitrary. It feels, I mean, and I don't know, I'm just talking off the top of my head.
You got to figure that companies like Dominion, they're basically a state protected monopoly on power. And when they start doing the solar stuff, they have to say, well, yeah, we're doing this for the environment. And Dominion has got a lot invested in those things as well. But in the long run, their sugar is the power coming through the line. And they know that they've got their guys on the hook in Richmond that say, yeah, you're only going to let so many people do this because we're not going to lose any money on this.
Well, here it says the estimated savings over 20 years after a solar purchase is $3,000. So, I mean, $3,000, but not over 20 years.
Yeah.
If you could save $3,000 in the first few years off your energy bill, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But over 20 years, you're probably not even going to stay in your home that long. Most don't stay in homes that long.
No.
So I don't know. I like the idea of, putting not having to depend on the power company. Do we ever record a podcast where somebody doesn't go out the front door? Tilly, please be quiet.
It's okay, boo.
Jesus, to tell me that someone just went out the front door, even though I could hear it and our chime went off. By the way, the battery on the Ring doorbell needs to be charged.
Well, start charging that.
Add that to the to-do list.
Well, that's an easy one because that's right in here.
So
charge it, and then tomorrow I'll put it on.
What are you hoping to get for your birthday?
See, this is one of those things. This is where I kind of channel my mom because I don't need anything. I was saying that, something for us to take to the beach for shade when we're, on the beach or whatever, that'd be nice. What was the other thing?
How much time do you think we're going to spend on the beach when we go down there?
Probably not a whole bunch because we better off at the pool, but still.
Plus, this Irish girl burns. I don't tan.
Yeah, that's true.
I burn. Too. So I either have to slather with suntan lotion or stay out of the sun. which I tend to just stay out of the sun because I also have really fair eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm in the sun for any length of time, like I will get a headache. Even this morning when we were on the deck with sunglasses on, after about a half an hour, my head just started, I'm not good in the sunlight. I'm like a vampire.
But I guess I'm pretty sure that somebody's going to give me a cancer hat because everybody was on that kick. And
you don't have a lot of hair up there to protect your scalp.
True that. I used to wear hats a lot, and then I got out of it.
Well, I found this.
I know where all my hats are.
I don't know who this belongs to.
I don't know either.
But I found this one in here.
Mm-hmm.
The doofy looking hat. The bill is all crooked on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know who this one belongs to.
Just Grandpa Logan, yeah. I wonder.
So I have a feeling, well, this hat's mine. But I have a feeling these belong to Dad.
So they got it in our stuff somehow.
I need one of those big hats with the, like a big sun hat.
Okay. Well, we can when we're on our way down, we'll stop and get some.
Well, I just have a big head. Hats don't really fit me. Just like every other part of my body, my head, I guess, is proportional. But I have I was up to 25 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was down at 22, and then I gained a couple over last weekend because I was eating not very well. Excuse me. And then I lost that plus 3 more this week.
Boom.
But I've lost 4 inches around my waist and 2 inches around my hips. So that's not bad. Which reminds me, I should probably try on that bathing suit before we.
Yeah, because you might need to go smaller.
That won't be the case. So you're just hoping for a cancer hat?
Yeah, I mean, I got, the Marvel shirt coming every month, so I mean, I'm good for that. I guess I don't know. I can't think of anything that I need and or want.
Yeah.
I'm kind of I'm just I guess too simple.
Got
my grill. So
I'm starting to worry how we're gonna get all of our stuff for the vacation into our car.
We'll drop the seats. I'm pretty sure we'll get it all in. I'm pretty sure we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know. I didn't have a chance to look up any good news.
Yeah. Well, I think we've talked about our news enough. Let's just drop into some therapy.
Sure.
Now, because we're in different rooms, I'm just going to read 10 and we're both going to answer. That's how it's going to work. How soon after a relationship ends do you get rid of mementos?
I mean, that depends on the
you have to
quality of the relationship.
Yeah.
Why it ended.
I can't think of anything I've kept from prior relationships. That's not true. One of my a girl gave me a key ring that I still carry.
I mean, I had like letters and little, things here and there. Don't show me on your key ring. I don't need to know which one some girl gave you that you've been carrying on your keys for 15 years without telling me.
Well, it's been a lot longer than 15 years, but it was just, I like the keychain. It's not because of her.
I mean, who carries a keychain for that long?
It's because of here, I'm going to show it because the leather strap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We were at like an art fair thing. And I saw it, I was like, oh, that's awesome. So she bought it. It had an eagle on it. It's kind of worn down, but I've had this. It's just something I always recognize my keys with it. And it really, literally, it didn't even occur to me that it had anything to do with the girl until we read. I was like, oh, yeah, I did keep that. So.
I had a couple things. I think when you and I got serious, I got rid of a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but like, I don't know. I mean, again, it just depends on how serious of a relationship it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like if something, God forbid, should happen and we weren't together anymore, I don't see myself just dumping everything. You know, unless you really ended it in like tremendous fab blaze of glory, then maybe, but I don't see that happening.
No, I'm not that guy.
I don't know. I am sentimental about things,
Mhm.
you know, but I don't know, I guess I do still have some jewelry. I don't ever wear it, but I still have it.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, there you go. All right.
I don't carry it around with me or, you know.
It's got nothing to do with the girl. It's just something I recognize from my screen. How would you cope last on Survivor? Oh, I guess the show Survivor.
Yeah.
I would suck on Survivor.
How would you cope?
Yeah, that's what it said.
How would you cope last on Survivor? Oh, / last. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take the plane ride to get out to the island on Survivor. So
That whole jump off this boat,
the whole
fuck you,
thing,
Jeff.
jump off the boat and swim. I'd be like, I'm out of here. No,
Right.
I wouldn't have got on the little freaking 10-seater airplane to get out there in the first place. So no, I'm a Survivor fan.
Yeah. If you are planning on going on Survivor, though, you best know how to fish with minimal shit. You best know how to make a fire with and without flint.
And you have to be okay without food.
Yeah, and you have to, you damn sure better learn to like rice.
Unless they have a Starbucks on Fiji, I'm not interested.
Yeah. What pushes your buttons? Ooh. I know that. Me.
Gosh, you know what? A lot of things push my buttons. I believe that's what it says. Repeating myself pushes my buttons.
What's that?
Here's one thing. Okay, this is an example of one of the things. It doesn't really push my buttons, but it's one of those little things in life. When we were logging on to this meeting, we had some technical issues we had to work out. So I left the meeting and then I was trying to get back into the meeting and I didn't have the passcode. So I said, just click on this little shield, text me the passcode. You text me all the information. Like all I needed was the passcode. But there's a lot of times where you'll do that. You'll be like, can I get you something? I'm like, oh, yeah, can I have some water? And you're like, oh, H2 orange or just water? And I'm like, water. Like if I wanted H2 orange, I would have asked for H2 orange. Like those little things, which is really you just making sure I'm getting what I want. Mm-hmm. But it's like, God, don't you freaking listen? I have to repeat it. You're making me repeat it. And that like repeating myself just pushes my buttons. And then sometimes when you repeat an argument, like you have standard lines in an argument. Mm-hmm. And so if gun control is one of them, if we're arguing over whether or not there should be additional, regulations or whatever, you use the same lines with me every time we talk about it. And it's like, I know you've told me that every time. Those little things sometimes push my buttons. What pushes you? I can only imagine you don't have many buttons.
No, but in life in general, when I see people blaming like capitalism for shit that's obviously been caused by government interference in the market, that really is like, no, you don't understand. You just don't get how this actually works, and I try to explain it, and I'm not great at explaining shit, but I mean,
Another thing I noticed that bothers you is when people say they have to live their truth. You're
there's
like, no,
truth.
there's the truth, and then there's whatever you're telling yourself.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell yourself anything and you might even believe it, but that's not truth. That is not your truth. That's
It's
fucking
perception.
bullshit. That's just your bullshit that you have learned to live with. But it is, in fact, your bullshit. It's not your truth.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that bothers you too.
Frost my nuts to hear that. When that chick on Big Brother kept talking about it, I just wanted to strangle that.
I think that's when you started hating it so much, because
yeah,
she just kept saying, I just need to live in my truth. But what she was saying was not true. Like,
yeah, she was literally lying to their faces. And I'm like, that just frost my nuts, man. That just.
I mean, I can support you being true to yourself. That's different. Like when you're living your life true to who you are.
That's really I'm all for it.
To me, like living my truth means that you're just ignoring reality.
Yeah.
Of a situation, you know.
And you expect other people to live in your truth.
Just honor that you.
No, that's your bullshit, and I'm not living in your bullshit because I'm refuse to live in bullshit.
Yeah, sometimes we all need to live in bullshit. You know. I don't know. What's the next question? You're gonna
moving on.
That question pushed my buttons.
To what degree does the daily news affect your mood?
To the nth degree.
It's all bad news. That's why we started looking for good news to give you guys. And just this week sucked because, you know, we're all separated.
What kills me about the news is it is very difficult to find any news organization that's not fully tilted one way or the other.
Yeah.
Like it really is hard to find just that we're just going to straight tell you the facts without our opinion. And I
understand where you're coming from there, and I agree. Because there's every single one of them has some sort of bias. Now, I will respect them if they admit to their bias. Then it's like, okay.
I mean, I will respect it, but that doesn't mean I like to watch it anymore.
No, that's true.
Because I don't know. I headline news, like when you're just watching someone read headlines. Sometimes I'll get like things pop into my phone, like. And you can just tell by the way the headline is written. Like, is that something I'm going to read or not? Because the bias, I want someone to read news without a filter, without a bias in one way or the other. Or like you said, at least recognizing. My favorite news story of the week actually was the Matthew McConaughey speech he gave at the White House. Mm-hmm. Because he didn't get up there and say, we just need to, you know, break down on gun control, or we just need to break down on mental health. It's not about guns, it's about mental health. It's not about mental health, it's about guns. He was like, it's about all of it. And as a person who supports the Second Amendment, as he is, he's like, the people in the middle agree on common sense gun safety. And he was like, even supporters of the Second Amendment are tired of the Second Amendment being hijacked for political purposes because of these whack jobs that are out there doing these terrible things. It's a multi-faceted problem that you can't come at it from just one direction.
Yeah.
Politicians want to either dismiss guns as the problem and only focus on school safety. If the teachers were armed or if there was armed security, these things wouldn't happen. But you can't ignore every other factor in the problem. And then you have the other people who want to completely ignore everything except the gun. We just need to, take these guns away from people. They don't need them. So, I mean, I would really think the vast majority of people are somewhere in the middle on that. And
I would
politicians
agree.
need to start also being somewhere in the middle on that, because you can't, in a civilized society, just remove access to, I mean, you can't be 12 years old. Where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
A 12-year-old can walk in and buy an AR-15. Why? Like, for what purpose?
Right.
You know, and I get that putting a restriction on gun ownership doesn't keep the bad guys from getting guns, but it may make it a little harder. And if it stops one of these shootings, then maybe it's worth it, because these little kids just went to school. That's all they did. That's all they did.
Yeah.
Listen to that one little girl talk about her teacher was shot in front of her, and her friend who was sitting next to her was shot, and the guy left and she didn't know if he was going to come back or not. So she took the blood that was all over the floor and she just rubbed all the blood all over her and laid there and pretended like she was dead. I cannot imagine how that child's going to move through that trauma. And we have to do something as a civilized nation to protect our children from that.
I agree.
You know, and so just ignoring the mental health side or ignoring the gun issue side, it's not getting us anywhere. And I thought Matthew McConaughey did a really good job of saying, it's just time to come to the table and put all that other, stop worrying about being reelected, put all that other bullshit aside, and let's really figure out what are some practical things we can do. You know, it's not going to stop every one of these things from happening. Nothing that this country can do is going to put a halt to gun violence.
No.
You could go door to door rounding up guns and you would still have gun violence. It's just not going to happen. So practical, common sense, rational, respectful discussion is what we need. And that can't seem to happen in Washington anymore. You know? Well,
like I was telling you yesterday, it's the politicians, their first concern is to maintain power. The second concern is to gain power. The third concern is a very distant, well, this is what the people want. They have no interest in fixing problems. It is against their best interest to fix problems.
I honestly believe that people go to Washington with the intent of,
I'm sure.
And it's just such a corrupt system right now.
Mm-hmm. And I think the one thing that would go towards at least limiting some of that corruption, and it's never going to pass, and that's term limits.
I know. That's part of the problem too. That's another issue, another thing that they will never come to the table on. Mm-hmm. And you have to ask yourself why.
Because these people go in poor and they come out billionaires.
Supreme Court judges. Well, I'll tell you what, when you put limits on politicians' terms, on senators and congressmen, then we can talk about Supreme Court. Yeah. Like, let's see you do it first, you know? Yeah. And then that a whole other thing with the guy who, went to Kavanaugh's house fully intending to murder him. Mm-hmm. And I hear people in the media go, oh no, well, they don't need extra security. They don't, well, poor Kavanaugh had a little scare. Did he have a little scare? If that had happened to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, this country would have just because it's a politician or a judge that you don't personally agree with doesn't make it okay for those things to happen.
Of course not.
As children who could be afraid now to be in their own home. How is that any different from being afraid to go to school because somebody might rush into your school and shoot you?
Yeah.
We cannot just continue to let this crap happen. You have to step in and protect the people you don't agree with just as much as the ones you do.
There you go.
I was happy to see McConaughey actually hit the middle road. I'm like, finally, someone speaking from the center. And there were moments in his speech where I was like, there's the Matthew McConaughey. He got the little tone in there, like, I don't think it's going to be long. You think you're going to see him running for?
I think he's going to run for an office before he's done. Because he's starting to get older, and the acting he's probably not really enjoying as much as he used to.
He doesn't even need to act anymore.
No, he's got money.
I mean, dude's got money. He seems happy to live a simple life. I don't know. I was impressed with him. I thought it took a lot of guts to stand in Washington and call some of the politicians out the way he did.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just, I'm a celebrity. I'm going to get up here and talk about banning weapons, So I don't know. I thought that I was pretty impressed with that. How do we even get on this topic?
I don't know. The question was, what degree does the daily news affect your mood?
There you go. Quite a bit.
All right. Next, we have, what lie do you keep telling yourself?
Wow. That's a good one. What lie do you keep telling yourself?
No, I mean, I tend to be a pretty honest guy. I guess, I don't know. I can make it. No. I don't know.
I love my job. I love my job.
Yeah, probably that. Even though they did kind of hit me in the face this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Well,
especially when they tell you, oh, you're above the top end of the new pay scale, so no more raises for you.
Yeah. We'll give you a bonus in lieu of a raise. So you're going to give me a lump sum that gets taxed at a higher rate? Appreciate that.
Could you take that lump sum and like break it up over 24 payments a year?
Yeah, if you could just break that up per hour, that would be great. Would you do that? Thanks. Who in your family most needs to be in therapy?
Oh my God. Don't even.
We're not going to do that one on a podcast.
I mean, I honestly do truly believe that everybody can benefit from therapy.
Yeah, I guess.
I am certain I could benefit from therapy.
Hmm.
I don't know.
So I've never been to therapy, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would just depend on the kind of therapy you're in, and
maybe massage therapy. Oh.
Hydrotherapy.
Hydrotherapy, yeah. Do you tend to hide or to show your emotions? Now, for me, I don't know about hiding. It's just that I'm not an overly emotional person, I don't think. So it's just because I kind of tend to get into like, all right, what's the ins and outs of things? What's the facts of the case or whatever, and I try not to get emotion to guide my decisions. So as a general rule.
Yeah, you're a pretty even-keeled guy.
Mm-hmm.
You are very good at regulating your emotions. I can tell when you're frustrated. I saw it today quite a few times.
Yeah.
Just kind of close your eyes and put your head back. Yeah, that's a strategy that we teach kids to do. It depends on where I am. Like at work, I'm really good most of the time. I know that I wear my frustration on my face a lot. Like I will go, or a heavy sigh or whatever. I am at home though, much quicker to I have a quicker temper. I get frustrated or I run out of patience quickly, but I tend to also get over it quickly.
Yeah.
And then I usually apologize if I felt like I was out of line. I don't know, out of the two of us, I would say I'm probably the more emotional one.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, I cry at movies, and I cried at the Matthew.
I love that, by the way. That is one of my favorite things when you do that.
Yeah, I know. You always look at me and you go, "You're so cute." I'm like, "Shut up." When I was crying at The Walking Dead or whatever.
When the tiger died. Oh, that was great. All right. Do you need to be more optimistic or realistic?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
You
I
are
think there's a
pretty
healthy balance somewhere.
You are pretty optimistic.
I try to be. I don't like come up with star in the sky, rose-colored glasses optimism. I try to look at a situation and I think about, okay, this is the situation, but I try to find a optimistic point in it to focus on, just because, if you're not, you're just going to be miserable in whatever the situation is.
Yeah, I mean, you're generally like, everything will work out, everything will be fine. I am not always optimistic.
That's you get from your dad.
I'm not as
He
bad as
shits
that.
on everything. Yeah.
I'm optimistic about things when they're far away, and as they get closer, I get more and more like, yeah, this shit ain't gonna work. But that again, that goes to my personality, my antisocial personality.
That literally happened earlier in this podcast. You're like, you've been fine. Oh, we'll just pack this. And then you're like, I don't think we're gonna get all this shit in the car.
That's pretty much, yeah, what happens.
That's great.
Yeah, we'll do that. That'll be fun. Like, let's take the ferry to Ocracoke, and then I'm already like backing out of that one. Like, I don't know if I want to spend the whole day. The ferry's like an hour and a half, and then what is there to do really in Ocracoke? Like, are we just gonna be, but that's my, introverted self.
Mm-hmm.
That I walk the line. When I think about vacations, I'm like, oh, it would be fun to like go and do this and go and do that. And then the real me is like, I just want to sit by the water and read a book. Like I don't need to be going and doing a ton of stuff. So, I mean, that's just my introverted self. We met with your family. We did a Zoom call with Kevin's family to talk about plans. For like food and stuff, and yeah, so it's like, okay, there's gonna be a lot going on, and I hope that, I mean, I know your family probably already realizes that I'm pretty introverted. I'm not like super social. I don't want people to feel offended if I'm,
They won't be. I mean, it's still,
because when I'm around a lot of people and there's a lot going on, I reach a point where it's just, and it happens with my own family, it happens with my friends. I just hit a point where I'm like, okay, I need to I've reached my limit, and it's just me. It's my inability to just relax through things, and I've always been that way. So I just hope that nobody is like, God, she's just antisocial. She doesn't like us. It's not about that at all.
Yeah. No one's going to think that. And if they do, fuck them.
No, I don't want anybody to feel like because like I said, it isn't about that at all. It's just, your family is very
wide open.
Yeah. I mean, they spend a lot of time together, and they're very social.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not all that social of a person. And so to put me in a social situation anywhere, even with my own family, it's work for me. And then after a while, I just get tired.
I got you covered, babe.
So I told Kevin, I'm like, I don't want to limit what you're doing. If you want to go and you go. I am perfectly fine to sit on the deck overlooking the water and like chill with a book or sit by the pool. I don't need to be running and going every minute. But if that's what you want to do, I don't want to stop you from doing that either. So
We'll be all right.
I'm gonna do my best to hang.
When you were a kid, did you ever think your parents left you behind?
No.
When I was wasn't so much after when I was a kid, but when I was in my early 20s, my mom and dad borrowed my car to go to Florida. My car has been to Disneyland, and I've never been. And there was another trip. It was right after I
bumper sticker to put on the car.
No, they didn't. Thank God. They actually took Rick, which was so weird.
They
Rick
what?
went with him. Rick rode with him because he was.
Why didn't you go? Were you working?
Yeah, I had to work. So they borrowed my car because it was the one in the best shape to make that kind of trip. And they took Rick because Rick was Aunt Trace was living in Florida at the time, so they were going to drop him off to hang with them, so that to visit with her and whatnot. So
you and I have so many similarities because the first year I was out of high school, whatever, and had a job, my parents took a trip to upstate New York and they went to Canada. They went to Niagara Falls and they did the Maid of the Mist, Mom and Dad and Jennifer and Michael. And I couldn't go because I had to work. And I'm like, that's the only time we ever took a trip out of the country. I've never been out of the country.
I got an even better one. I was going to school and working at Canon, and I couldn't get off work. And one of my Aunt Teresa's second husband, Richie, had died, who was one of my dad's lifelong friends. Terry's dad, Michael Princiano's dad, Terry's dad, Rick's dad, and most of the family was going up for the funeral, and I couldn't go. Not only could I not go because I couldn't get out of work, I had gone to the doctor and they did some tests on me, just a normal thing, and they said, you have an unusually high potassium rate. I'm like, all right, well, what's that mean?
For your heart.
They were like, your heart could just literally stop. Now, we might have fucked up the test. This is the same thing that happened with Jones a while back. We might have fucked up the test, so we're going to take it again, and we'll let you know over the weekend. So not only did they all abandon me, I'm thinking I could just drop dead
any second.
That was a bad weekend.
Oy.
One of the few times where I was just like, man, I didn't eat any bananas or anything. I was like, what's got potassium in it? Like bananas and a couple other fruit. And I'm like, well, I'm just eating steak this weekend.
We were at our favorite chicken place when I was a kid, Pollard's Chicken. And my sister, whenever we went out to dinner, she would have to go visit the bathroom. And she was really, under 10 probably. And she would go in and sing whatever in the bathroom. And while she was in there, we all got up and cleaned our table up and left. Waited on the sidewalk. So she came out of the bathroom and we were all gone. She has not forgiven us to this day for that. She
kind of did that to Michael that night when we were at that fancy restaurant. We did that to Michael a little bit when we were at your mom and dad's for their anniversary, and that drunk lady was talking to us. That's still one of my favorite moments. This lady, I think Jennifer was there. I don't think Jen was there. Somebody was there besides us, but we were there. This extremely drunk woman starts talking to us and going on and blithering on. And finally she goes to the bathroom, and then she comes out of the bathroom and comes back to the table and starts blathering on again. And Michael literally throws his utensils down and does this number like he's pissed. I was like, that's awesome.
Speaking of somebody with a lot of buttons.
All right, last one. Are you a good date? And that is 100% true for you.
I don't know. I guess if you say so. You're a good date because you're willing to like go anywhere I want to go, do anything I want to do. And then when I say, I don't really feel like going anywhere, you're like, all right.
I am the ultimate accommodator.
You are.
All right, that's 10.
All right. Well, next week's edition will I guess we can do it late on Saturday. We got a busy day Saturday.
Yeah.
Or Sunday.
Yeah. Either way.
But I will be out of school, have finished my year 23.
I'll be a year older.
You'll be a year older.
Cash App Cave Rose VA.
We want that steak dinner. Steak's expensive. We might have to settle for bacon BLTs, Kevin.
Yeah. Arby's has got burgers now. We gotta try that.
Yeah, Wagyu. The
Wagyu beef.
Hopefully we'll be able to be side by side.
Yeah.
I won't. According to CDC rules, I'll be able to be unmasked around people on Wednesday. Well, Thursday. And I just hope this little cough is gone by then. I'm obviously still testing positive, even though they're like, you don't need to retest yourself because it could be 3 months you could test positive. I'm like, well, how do I know I don't have another infection then? Like, if I test myself in 2 months because I'm feeling bad, how do I know it's a new COVID infection or just still?
That's probably why people have tested positive several times.
Maybe. Anyway, so, all right, well, let's tie a bow on this number 65. What do you say?
Right. Yeah, let's do it. Next week we'll be back together and back together with you guys. Bye, everybody.